finding your lawyer hat, reading and understanding bills. So a quick kind of a silly oversimplification about how law is written. This is entirely fictional, although it may bear resemblance to reality. So bear with me. Let's say, for example, the legislators pass a law one year that says nobody may ever wear a red shirt. And then they come along the next year, they say, you know what, yeah, we had trouble in election. Let's see if we can fix that. Let's say anybody over the age of 65 can wear a red shirt. And let's say also anybody under the age of 18 can wear a red shirt if they're enrolled in school or already graduated or have their GED or they're working at least 20 hours a week. Then they can also do that. And we're also going to define what red means. We're going to refer them to the other part of code, of labor code, of what red means and what it means to wear, and we're going to define a shirt. Okay, so that's in law. And they come back the next session, they say, okay, let's need some refining. I think more people could be trusted with red shirts, so let's have some, you know what, let's say that if you're a certain profession, maybe you're an attorney or a doctor, then you get to wear a red shirt. Whom else can we trust? Let's say also if you sign up and you get checked and you have a permit, then you can have a red shirt, but you have to pay this amount of money. But if you're one of these people, you only have to pay this amount of money, or it's easier for you to get a permit. It'll last for your whole life. And they come along the next year and they keep on adding things or whittling away or omitting or repealing some of those or adding more. And then one year they amend it and they add a clause at the end that says none of this shall apply to anyone in the state of Texas. So they basically just invalidated the whole thing. They could have repealed it, but they didn't actually repeal it. They just said it doesn't apply to anybody. So a little bit of oversimplification, but if you've read law at all and studied it, you know that's not too far from the truth of what law can look like. So several points to that. First of all, read to the ends. See how things line up. If it refers you to another section of code, you have to go read that. Just reading a bill will not tell you what it actually does unless you have the whole entire Texas code memorized. So the bill will tell you, hey, we're adding these words and striking these words and repealing this and changing this. But first you have to know what the law says. So here's my method for what I do to try to dissect legislation, understand what the bill means. So first of all, and I'll walk you through this, about 4 steps. I'm going to scan the bill. I'm going to write down all the numbers of the code changes. For example, Penal Code 46035. Then I'm going to go read those places, Penal Code 46035 or whatever else I wrote down, see what the law says now. And then once I know what the law says now, then I'm going to go read the bill and say, okay, how is the law being changed? So it's all a process of saying what places in law are affected, what does that say now, and how is it being changed? So here's what it looks like. And we're going to take, we're going to go back to 85R HB 375. This is last time's constitutional carry bill. Let's go to the text tab over here. Boom, we have our text. You can get PDF or Word, but I just like the HTML version. Here's what that looks like. This is a very long bill. Some bills are just like to here and that's all. You can see over here this word is stricken. That means it's gonna the bill is saying we're going to take this out. You can see over here some words are underlined. Those are the words being added. So all the other words that aren't stricken or underlined, that's just what already exists in law. They're not adding it. They're not taking it away. It just gives you a little bit of context for, hey, we're adding this word over here and we're taking away these words over here. So that's what it does. What I would do first is go through and say, okay, section 1, just a title, so forget about that. Section 2, okay, this says 4602 Penal Code. I'm going to write that down. I'm going to move on. This one says 4603 Penal Code, subsections E1, E2. Write that down and move on. Okay, this is 46035, just a title, so forget about that. 46035 A, A1, A2, A3, B, and F. Write that down and move on. See what I'm doing? So I'm scrolling through a lot of this, and I'm not paying attention to what the bill actually says. I'm just writing down, okay, Penal Code 46035H1, and move on. 46.15A, and move on. And eventually I'll get to some things that aren't penal code. But this has a lot of penal code just because of the nature of it. So once I do that, then I'm going to look up Penal Code 46.02 and scroll down. I like to look at the official government website, which is .gov, and we're going to do a search for 46.02. Here we go. And it says, over here, it says a person commits an offense if the person, colon. That is basically legalese for, hey, this thing here, this thing is against the law. Okay, so what's against the law? Okay, if a person intentionally, knowingly, or recklessly, okay, what kinds of words are those? Is that a verb? No. Okay, that's an adverb. It modifies something. So ignore the adverbs for a minute. Okay, it's like sentence diagramming. Okay, if it's against the law to do what? To carry on or about his or her person. I don't care about that. That's my preposition clause or whatever it is, right? Okay, so forget that. Okay, to carry a handgun or club. Okay, so basically this is a ban on carrying handguns, okay? It's against the law to carry a handgun or club, and if you're not on your own premises, or premises under your control, or in your car, or watercraft, etc. Okay, so essentially what it's saying, it's against the law to carry a gun unless you're on your property or vehicle or boat, etc. And then once you get the basic gist of it, then you can go back and look at the little words, okay? Intentionally, knowingly, or recklessly. So what if I accidentally, not knowingly, not recklessly carry? Okay, that wouldn't apply. Okay, but you can see the basic idea here. Once you see what the law says right now, then you go back and you say, okay, what is happening? Oh, it's striking handguns, so it wouldn't be illegal anymore to carry a handgun. That's cool. So it takes away that blanket ban. And later on, you can see it changes a lot of wording. So currently, it refers to people who can carry as those who are licensed to carry, and it's changing that to be not otherwise prohibited by law from possessing. So that's our constitutional carry bill. That's the approach that it takes. And that is how I typically go through the bill. If that's too much trouble for bills, something else you can do is just call the bill author and say, hey, do you have a one-pager on this that I can read? Could you send me your one-pager? Or check with issue organizations that have information on it. So that's another good way of getting information on bills.